A new collab is coming, and there's a bunch of units in it. Good thing I have some time to get quartz before Ryubence arrives. The calendar says that the first banner will drop on the 16th, and it comes with... Oh no. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Disgaea RPG. Today we'll talk about the one and only, the unit you have been waiting for, one of the best supporters in the game, Ryubence. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Ryubence Any 0 gives the party a 16% buff to basic stats, her Any 1 gives a 25% buff to basic stats and critical damage for 1/3 to the ally with the lowest speed. Her Any 5 gives all allies an 18% skill damage buff if Ryubence HP is above 50%. Last is her Any 7, which increases all allies' elemental damage depending on the number of surviving allies, going up to 20% when all the team is alive. For skills, her Pumpkin Panic is a medium-cost AoE attack that reduces the enemy's attack and int by 45% and inflicts enemies with the Forget status if they have a defense debuff. Her Trick Scream is a party-wide overheal skill which grants a 5 SP recovery buff, a 20% critical damage buff, and a 10% critical rate buff for a single ally. Last is her Ryubence Demon Beast Dictionary, which is a medium-cost single-target attack that debuffs defense and resistance by 45%, cancels the enemy's buffs, and inflicts Forget. For spells, she has Mega Speed Down, Mega Armor Break, and Mega Resist Break. Ryubence only lacks speed debuffs, so Mega Slow Down is a great spell if you need speed control. Mega Armor Break and Mega Resist Break are only 10% more effective than Ryubence Demon Beast Dictionary, but they only affect one stat. The only advantage they have over this skill is that the recipe cost is lower. Ryubence is a splashable supporter you can use in all kinds of content. Her main role is as a debuffer, but she can also buff critical damage and critical rate while providing SP. If you combine her elemental damage boost and her skill damage boost, she increases damage by 38% passively, on top of whatever buffs you can give to your main stats. She's able to reduce both defensive stats considerably. She can also clear any buffs from the bosses in a sparse space, and if you want to increase your chances of landing a critical hit, she can also do that. Most of her skills don't have an element attached to them, so she isn't well suited for the elemental meta. Regardless, you can still use her on those kind of teams due to how versatile they are. As a splashable supporter, there aren't any specific team comps that you want to use with her, but there are some areas she is lacking, and you can compensate those with other units. First of all, she isn't an SP battery, she gives a 5 SP regen, and if you constantly use this effect, she will be giving a considerable amount of SP. But if you intend to beat the boss as fast as possible, then my first recommendation is to pair her with SP batteries. Thankfully, her abilities aren't weapon restrictive, which means you can even pair her with weapon specific batteries. Don't forget that she is mainly a debuffer, so your other units should give substantial buffs to your main attacker. Right now the best option is to use units which give big buffs, but once the elemental meta arrives, a new path will open. You see, most elemental supporters have an elemental attack that grants some kind of buff or debuff, as well as an ability that buffs the party if the element they support is used. This means that if you use 2 elemental supporters, you'll reach the buff cap in no time. Even if Ryubence only has an element on her single target attack, she can work on an elemental team because of how powerful they are. To finish, let's check some units that pair well with her, starting with Future Rosalia. Until now, the 2 Future Rosalia's composition was one of the most popular ways to beat a boss quickly, but now we can use a different SP battery because Ryubence can proc Future Rosalia's Any 7. Santa Rosalind and New Year Girl Lahar are particularly good options because they both give SP while providing big buffs for your main attacker. If you want to use a rainbow team, Thunder Lady Lahar, Ice Emperor Rosalind, and Frost Lord Rosalind are good options. Attackers which activate extra effects when the enemy is debuffed and have an element on their skills are a perfect match for Ryubence. Overlord Metalia and Thunder Spear Mikasa are just a couple examples. Serafina Zeno is another debuffer with buffing capabilities, but she inflicts paralysis instead of Forget. She gives big buffs and SP recovery for one ally, and just like Future Rosalia, she needs to be paired with another knight unit to take full advantage of her abilities. And that's it guys. Ryubence is a staple supporter that you should get if you can, as she can be used in all kinds of content. But what do you think? Is she worth the role, or is she overrated? Are you rolling for her, or is she a skip? Are there any other characters that pair well with her? Let me know in the comments. See ya!